Welcome to the Dr. Aaron Show. This is a top spiritual awakening and new thought ancient wisdom podcast to teach you how to become your highest self, unleash your spiritual superpowers, discover your soul's purpose, and manifest your dreams. Hi, I'm Dr. Aaron, Doctor of Divinity, and I'm committed to bringing you the best manifesting and coaching tips, spiritual advice, trauma healing, and metaphysical recovery secrets. I'm here to help you reprogram your subconscious mind, monetize your spiritual gifts, and love your life. I want you to know that I've been exactly where you are, and I believe in you. Together, we're awakening the world. Welcome back to the Dr. Aaron Show. I am super excited to break on down 22 supernatural powers you are able to turn on through doing your spiritual work. So before we begin, I would like us to take a deep breath together and exhaling out. And just coming into the divine presence within, I recognize and acknowledge the one divine power that has created all of life, the supernatural essence that is the power that backs all thought, backs all identity, is the creator of all of our perceptions, our experiences, all matter, material, and such. And I recognize that this is my true identity, that this is your true identity, this divine identity that is super, that is beyond natural, that is nature and is the superpowers. It is the all. I recognize that I am the I am and that you are that as well. And in this, I declare this podcast to be a powerful podcast to reveal the truth of who you are, for you to know and remember that your human beingness is a supernatural power in of itself. I declare us to know the power that be. I release this as together we say, and so it is. Okay, so let's break this on down. I want to just take a moment to acknowledge a few things. So one, I know that if you're listening to this podcast, you have had a divine calling, and I recognize it. I know that you have a lot to do in this lifetime and on this planet, and I am going to just put this request out there for you to not wait any longer, to take bold action, because this planet is calling forth the light. Just as much dark that is going on this planet is just as much light is really breaking through. Okay. We have a relative universe, and the divine healers and practitioners and coaches and conscious business owners, I say, rise, sister, rise. Okay. So as we go into this, I'm referring back to, I think, a podcast I did 2 podcasts ago. I can't remember, but it was really about understanding where we hand our power over to is actually where we become disempowered. So as I go through these supernatural powers, I'm going to tell you my personal journey of being born with supernatural powers and having them be turned off and watching them turn back on, and the flux that I went through and going through the 22 supernatural powers and breaking them down. But I want to really just say here for a minute that when I began to get interested in what's called the cities, is the Eastern terms for supernatural abilities, remembering that anybody that's a true master doesn't get entangled and cling on to their supernatural abilities. That oftentimes when we are seeking things like getting our supernatural powers out of our spiritual practice, it is in the clinging to that we actually can never actually really have the powers. So as I go through this list, don't get too egoic about it. Like, oh, I'm going to get that, or I have that ability, or I want to turn that on, because that is what is going to stop you from actually really receiving, because we receive by serving. It's not about getting anything. It's about giving everything. So let's break this on down. So we all want to be powerful. We all want to be empowered. And yes, we all want supernatural abilities. Okay. We've watched the Transformers. We watched Bewitched. If you're in the older generation, it was a show on television of the genie, if you will. And we all want mystical tales of our, supernatural powers. Okay. So here's the deal. Our supernatural abilities are our natural state. Okay. They're not supernatural. They're very natural. We just have gotten in our own way, and rightfully so, over hundreds of years of turning off our powers because we used to get burned at the stake, crucified. And so we have lost a lot of our powers. However, they lay dormant in our cells right now. The truth is that all of these supernatural powers that I'm going to walk you through, you already have them. They're already there waiting for you. They can't disappear. It's really not having perception of them more than anything, okay? So supernatural abilities are often associated with paranormal scope of the world, right? But the truth is they're natural laws of life. So what are supernatural powers and abilities? How do I develop my supernatural abilities? And what are the top supernatural spiritual gifts, right? These are all the questions that anyone who's spiritual asks. And I think that there's a distinction here. There's a difference between supernatural abilities and flow state. Flow state, I think we all desire. There's times when life is serendipitous, where everything shows up exactly. We think about a red, car that we drove or something in high school, a VW bug or something. And all of a sudden we see VW bugs everywhere, right? So everything is serendipitous. The people that we think about automatically call us, right? These are not necessarily supernatural abilities. These are the flow state. So we want to get that supernatural abilities is very different than flow state. And we can switch on and off between our flow state and our stuck state, right? We feel like nothing's going right. Zenblanity, right? We feel like nothing's going right. Everything is hard. We don't know anything. And we're in zero serendipity in our life versus a flow state. Whereas supernatural abilities are extra abilities, things that we weren't able to ever experience before. So it's a mystical state, if you will. The truth is that you were born of the stars. You're an eternal, immortal spiritual being, and the wisdom of the entire universe, the akashic records, lives and breathes in you. So I want you to know, if you don't identify with one of these 22 supernatural abilities, I want you to know that you are supernatural regardless. That you have within you and are embodied in the sacred temple, the most advanced computer system in the universe, because it is one with the universe. You have mind-blowing abilities built into your human computer system, your body. So I just want to refresh these memories before we get into the list, okay? So even just according to the National Institute of General Medicine Sciences, if you uncoiled each strand of your DNA and place them end to end, the resulting strand would be 67 billion miles long, the same as about 150,000 round trips to the moon, okay? And your DNA can communicate with all of life. So the truth is, you are a divine being that is able to communicate, whether you recognize it, whether you perceive it, your DNA is communicating with all of life. And if you don't think that's a superpower, right? So I'm going to rattle off 22 superpowers that really don't matter as much as being able to have mental health, right? That's a superpower these days, just to have a normal mental state, right? It is a superpower to be able to show up consistently in your expression and be able to pay your bills and monetize your spiritual gifts, right? This is a supernatural power, okay? What we're doing in today's world, if you just open your eyes for a minute and look at your computer or your phone, or look to what we're doing, we live in homes that have light that we can just flick on a switch, right? We don't have to go to an outhouse. We have bathrooms right in our home, right? We can have food delivered to our house. Like, we are supernatural, by the way. So people get so caught up in being able to levitate in a supernatural ability. But I'm here to say that having 2 feet on Mother Earth and being a soul-based coach or entrepreneur and having your consciousness as high as consciousness can go and being able to deliver truth to the world in every person that you talk to, or on social media or through your business, that is a massive supernatural ability. Okay? So don't get it wrong. You are a supernatural, all-powerful spiritual being. So supernatural abilities. So I've spoken a lot on the podcast about my spiritual journey And I was born with many abilities. My mom actually thought I was possessed. I told her that there were people in my room at night. I told her my real name was Tutu Tara, the deity Tara. I had angels and guides and things around me all the time. I could see auras in people. And yet I shut it all down because I was not nurtured and I was disacknowledged in my natural, supernatural abilities. And I say this because I believe most children are born with a lot of abilities, especially in today with the really advanced souls coming in, okay? But you have these natural states, and for most of us, we shut them down, okay? And as I began to do my inner work, I began to clear out the soul because the natural state is supernatural. But what happens is through the traumas, through the limited beliefs, through the limited identity, through the tagging of our epigenetics, through all the false, inverted use of energy, we turn off our natural abilities. So as I began to do my inner work, I would go into meditation. I would get trained in shamanism just through natural and pure ways, not with medicines. I began to have prophetic things stream through me. I remember walking into a Walmart one day. I literally was on a trip and I was doing some deep, deep spiritual work and there was no stores. I was in Texas and I walked in Walmart and I could hear every single person's inner dialogue. That was not normal. That did not stay with me. That's not something that is as prevalent as it was. But there's things I can sit down with people and I have one conversation just feeling. I'm very clairsentient. I'm very I have a knowingness. I have a knowingness of what's going on with people, what their limited beliefs are, what I can hear their limited false commands in their consciousness. I can feel their energetics. I also know oftentimes what people are to do in their lifetime, even though I don't use that ability because it's against my practice. I don't give advice or give psychic readings, but I know that. And I help people do their own work by doing the deep, deep soul clearing work and trauma work so they can birth their own truth. But I have a lot of abilities. Sometimes they're stronger, sometimes they're weaker, depending on how powerful my spiritual practice is. And as you guys know, I've told a lot of stories about, especially when I travel into new cities or older cities, I can track all the past lives that have gone on there, the tortures, the burning at the stake, the this and that happened. And I just know these things and I can't explain why. But they're a natural state. We are one with everything. We are all past lives. And so it's a natural ability. So I also can compress time, right? There's things we've learned to do and manipulating and manifesting, things like that. And I still have very human experience as well. So let's break this on down. Supernatural powers. First of all, I want to ask you a question before I go into this. Why? Why do you want to turn on your supernatural abilities and powers? So I ask you these questions because why? Why do you want supernatural powers? Is it so that you have, powers to dominate others? Is it because you just want to experience your divine nature? What is your intention? Because you can turn on supernatural powers and misuse them and then be actually bounded by them, taking away your powers, or can you use them for the highest good, to create harmony, to use it to serve others? It's a very important question to ask. Why do you want to turn on your supernatural powers? And so as we go through this list, I'm just going to break them on down, okay? So here we go. Let's do this thing. So number one is telekinesis. This is the ability to move or manipulate objects with the mind without any physical interaction. So I want you to really get clear. You already have all of these abilities. Remember that in spiritual work, we don't do outlining, which means we don't have it show up how we want it to show up. We don't control how it shows up, okay? So telekinesis, you might think, okay, I'm going to try and move this one lamp. I'm going to try and move it over to the living room. That's not how spiritual work works. The ability to move or manipulate objects in the mind without any physical interaction. Well, let's just say this. You have a phone right now, right? You can push your phone and you can get groceries delivered to your house without you touching those groceries. Bam, you have this ability, okay? This is so much fun. I'm having so much fun right now. I just want you to get clear that you have all these abilities. I'm going to rattle like 22 of them out. And there are abilities that you're here to master, which are massive human abilities to show up consistently in your life, to be able to see projects through, right? To be able to actually express yourself, right? These are actually really advanced skills, okay? So, number one, telekinesis. Number two, are you ready? Telepathy. Telepathy. I'm going to define this, right? Communication between minds without the use of spoken words or any other known human senses. Okay. Communication between minds without the use of spoken words or any other known human senses. Guess what? You already have this ability. I'm going to tell you how. Okay. So you may already know this. Like, I'm sure there's things with your besties or things you already have probably experienced telepathy. You already know, like, sometimes you have a weird feeling of like, oh, I know something's going on with my mom right now. I call her up and then she's like, yeah, I'm really struggling today, right? We have these abilities, okay? But if you've not experienced that, I'm going to show you how you already have these abilities. I'm going to use the phone a lot because we have advanced technology that has abilities, okay? Telepathy, right? You can literally, there's things with our phones now that can read our brainwaves and be able to actually be able to know what to pull up on your phone. Okay. Whether you're experiencing this or not, you have telepathy because you are one with all of life and all these abilities have already been created in form. Okay. Today is mind-blowing day of supernatural abilities. Number three, teleportation. Instantaneous transportation from one location to another without traversing space in between. Girl, open up your phone right now. You can literally do FaceTime over in Indonesia. And someone's like, no, that's not real. I'm not really over there. Therefore, it's not teleportation. Remember, no outlining, no saying it has to happen a particular way. It's a transportation from one location to another without traversing the space in between. Your telephone can do all of these abilities for you right now. Okay. Number four, shape shifting, the ability to change one's physical form or appearance at will. Well, we have, I do see this a lot, actually. It's really amazing when I'm doing trauma work with people and they actually shape shift through multiple lifetimes. I see it actually physically in their face because they take on all their identities over the years, come through and are being shut off. And I can literally see them shape shifting. Okay. However, if you've not experienced that in the physical form, the truth is that, we can take on all kinds of identities on the internet. This is an advanced way of supernatural abilities. And you might think, oh, this isn't fun. I want to be able to do it in real life. Well, again, outlining. You already have all these abilities already. You just have to give up how you think they're supposed to happen. Number five is superhuman strength. Strength beyond the limits of normal human capabilities. Okay. Well, if you've not experienced that in physical form, because again, the outlining would think, oh, I'm going to be Superman or Superwoman. I'm going to lift this car up right here. And I can't do that. Therefore, I don't have that supernatural ability. Yes, you do. It's called the human has created a human, like a forklift, right? You have superhuman strength. Okay. Yes, maybe some yogis in India are able to do these things. And you too can if you choose to focus on this superpower. But the truth is, you already have the superpower strength. So you don't have to go over and develop that ability. You have that ability right now. This is all done. Everything in the universe is already created. Okay. It's already done. You just have to open your eyes to it. Okay. Number six is invisibility, the ability to render oneself unseen by others, right? So can you do that? Well, I invite you next time you go to a party, I invite you to render yourself unseen by others and decide no one cares. And notice how invisible you become. Okay. Invisibility. Can somebody do this? Can they actually, be unseen? I've never seen that. Okay. But these are the supernatural abilities. Next, this is maybe more relatable. Prophetic recognition. So the ability to foresee or predict future events. And I know all of us probably have done this at some point in time. Sometimes we just don't recognize it. Some people have this ability, and some friends that I have, because I do have some friends that are very prophetic, they actually get afraid of this ability and they don't want to use it because they don't know, is it actually them creating it and then it comes into place because they've, thought about it and spoken it loud, or like what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? There are people like Nostradamus and Baba Vanga, things like that, that have prophetic abilities, but even theirs are very vague, and 80% are right or something like that, right? So it's ability. It's wonderful, but do we need that ability? It's beautiful, but are you able to just be present with another human being? Are you able to just literally be here now? I mean, that might be a more useful supernatural ability than having prophetic abilities. Okay. Number 8, and by the way, back to 7, prophetic abilities. I'm going to actually share on the next podcast or two about the biggest theme for the next year, for 2024. And it is a prophetic thing that's come through. And I do think it's important because it's a very important message. So prophetic work is very important, of course. And it's not the end all be all. Okay. Number 8 is clairaudient. This is meaning gaining information about people, places, or things beyond the normal human perception auditorily. So you actually hear things. You may hear a voice. You may hear a sound. Sometimes some of the clairaudient people working with the police will hear something like, oh, there's a stream going by where they are. I could hear a stream, right? Clairaudient. Okay, this ability. Okay. Number 9 is healing powers, the ability to cure illnesses by touch, through your hands, whatever it is. I definitely have experienced a lot of that. Sometimes I have these, like, a lot of heat that comes out of my hands, and it's through the shamanistic work and being able to lay my hands on people, which I don't do that. I do it a lot actually just through connecting with divine. It's part of the reason actually why we put the hands in prayer mode of together, because you're actually healing the entire system, connecting the right and left hemisphere of the brain. Healing powers I can literally just put my hands up to the cosmos and do a prayer and heal by the hands, of the power of the hands. Okay. So one hand is receptivity, one is, releasing, you're receiving and giving at the same time. So healing powers, you are able to heal through touch I heal all the time by speaking truth. As doctors divinity, we heal by knowing the truth. Okay. So healing powers can be in all different ways. The next is time manipulation. And this is what we teach in school, as well as time compressing. So time manipulation is control over past, present, and future, including time travel. And so what we know is that the universe is a mental universe, and it's done in pictures. So instead of going to A, B, C, D, E, all the way from A to Z, we energize the picture of Z, and we energize it, and we embody the consciousness and the skill set around it, and we can compress time by doing that. Okay. Number 11 is flight, the power to defy gravity and fly through the air. And all these abilities, we're in a multiverse. So you're doing all these now. Okay. Just so you know, you may only experience yourself not being able to do it, but you have to know that it comes in different forms. One form that flight came in for me was I deep in meditation and getting really advanced and being able to communicate through the ethers and through all time space. I would have very advanced monks come through that would fly. And so how you fly is not necessarily how you think you're going to fly. Your body may not be able to ever fly, but you can fly in consciousness. Okay. The power to defy gravity and fly through the air. You can fly. Obviously, we've created and innovated and made airplanes, and therefore you can fly also. So you have this ability right now. Number 12 is immortality, eternal life, or the ability to live for an extended period of aging. So the truth is that you are immortal, whether you think you have that ability or not. You are immortal. You're an eternal, immortal spiritual being. So can you turn that on through your abilities? Well, science is now being able to have a cell live forever. with the right nutrients and stuff. So we always say that it's destiny for us to be immortal in form, in physical form as well, because whatever is true spiritually is what will take form physically. So we will experience our immortality in form as well. Number 13 is energy manipulation, which means control over various forms of energy, fire, electricity, elemental forces. Can you have energy manipulation? Well, it might happen differently than what you think as well. Energy manipulation can, you can do all kinds of things in energy manipulation. First of all, we know that thought creates things, and you can see this and this patterning by what you are manipulating in a negative way. So right now you can take a look at and think about your relationship and your belief around prosperity and money. Okay. And you can look at different people in your life and yourself, and you can see the beliefs and how it actually creates abundance or scarcity in your life. This is the ultimate energy manipulation through mind. I mean, there's just no question that you can absolutely manipulate energy at all points in time instantaneously with your belief system. At a subconscious level, it is energizing universal law. So energy manipulation is a mastery for all of us. Number 14 is mind control, the ability to influence or control the thoughts and actions of others. And look, I wish I could say this wasn't true, but it is true. We know we can influence somebody just by walking in a door. If you're sad and down and whatever, your whole energetics in your mind could influence every single person around you. You can control others by inspiring them, motivating, educating them, right? You have the ability to influence through everyone you communicate with, through social media, through everything, right? You influence everywhere you go. Obviously, there's mind control. Can you master this? Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. We know there is so many different types of mind control and all the different things that people use. There's so much control through marketing, through television, all mind control, swiping through social media, hitting that cortisol over and over again, and all the different things that come on when you're doing all the social media. Number 15 is resurrection. Well, this is a one. Can we really do this? Resurrection. Okay. The power to bring the dead back to life. Well, can we do this? I mean, anything's possible. Resurrection, the ability to bring back the dead back to life. The truth is that energy cannot be destroyed. So whether you like it or not, you are resurrected. Energy cannot be destroyed. It may go into a different form. And again, that's outlining. I want to be resurrected just like Jesus, and I want to come back as me. Well, that may not be resurrection. The power to bring back dead to life. The truth is there's no such thing as death. Energy cannot be destroyed. Resurrection is inevitable. Okay. But the truth is you're not your body. So can you be resurrected? You are always resurrected because you are a spiritual being, eternal, immortal, and always resurrected. Okay. Number 16, intuition. I love intuition. So good. The ability to understand or know something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning. Sometimes you just know that you know. And I would say this is one of my strongest abilities. There's just a knowingness. Whether it be that you like somebody, you don't vibe with them. Dogs are really great at intuition, right? You know where you're supposed to really live. You know what you're really here to do on this planet. You know what friends have your back and which don't. Intuitively. This is a natural state. I wouldn't even say it's a supernatural ability. This is everybody I know has intuition. Come on. It's just whether they listen to it. Are you listening to your intuition? Okay, number 17, an empath. Empath is a huge, huge supernatural ability. It can be a blessing and it can be a curse. I'm definitely an empath, as many of us are. We're very emotionally driven, have feeling so many things coming through. An empath has the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, okay? And it's a ability to develop in that sometimes you don't know what emotions are coming from you versus what emotions are coming through. And I think everybody is truly an empath. It's just that people just don't understand or recognize that they are. For example, over the pandemic, I was feeling a lot of sadness coming through, and I was like, what's going on? Like, there was nothing really, I mean, there wasn't much for me to be sad about. But I realized that I was tapping into the collective and feeling and being an empath of feeling all the sadness going around me. So it's an ability to develop in that you may already have it. We all have it, but being able to discern and know when the emotions are coming from you versus when the emotions are coming from the collective. Also, feeling into the cosmic, when the astrology and the moon and all that, right? We have a lot of emotions going through. Number 18 is a psychic. And this is really the ability to read someone's energetic imprinting on their soul. We do not believe that psychics should ever implant of what the future is going to bring, because each person actually has freedom of choice. And we do really believe that. But it's an ability to read someone's energetic imprinting on the soul. And this kind of the psychic word is somewhat of a bad word in the industry. Most people call people intuitives instead, because psychics have gotten such a bad name by being on the side of the road or whatever, right? But we're all psychic also at some level. But psychic work is an ability to develop. But what you have to be really careful of is reading through your own subjective mind and your own lens, if you will. For a psychic to be a really good psychic, they need to be able to have they need to have cleared their own subconscious mind to be able to have a pure state, and really to be able to just take a look at where's someone holding themselves back, not necessarily imprinting upon what's happening in the future. Number 19 is channeling. It's really the ability to allow the universal truths to come through one's, consciousness. To channel is to really open up the highest of the highest consciousness into the intelligence of the entire universe. So channeling is a natural state. When I started channeling years ago, after I'd been meditating for a very long time, many years, I would get downloads. I would literally feel like I was channeling a different entity. But really what it was still a division for me to not understand that I was opening up to my true self, to the wisdom of the entire universe, to divinity, to my true state. So channeling is definitely something that happens through the process. And we have this thing called Google. We can Google a lot of information as well. Okay. So if you're not channeling through your own consciousness, you can pick up your phone or computer again. Okay. Number 20 is clairsentient, which is a clear knowing through feeling or emotion as well. Again, there's just certain people that just know, and it's just a knowingness. Number 21 is mediumship. And this is the ability to communicate with spirits or entities from the other realms. I have a dear friend who's a medium, and she's highly talented. Like, she literally will talk to somebody and be like, oh yeah, I have this, person on the side. And the person will like, oh my gosh, that's, exactly my uncle that just passed away or something. Right. So mediumship is really being able to communicate with spirits that are on the other side, that want to communicate with people still in physical form. And there's definitely people that have developed this ability. Most of the times people are born with it. And I think that we all have the ability. Again, it's just really what's your gift, right? Number 22 is astral projection. The belief that one can separate from consciousness from the physical body and travel in the astral form. Well, we do this every night. If you were to actually do a lot of the subconscious work, you clear out a lot of the dreams, because your dreams is really your subconscious mind trying to deal with what has not been handled at a subconscious level. When you clear out and do a lot of your inner work, a lot of people, one of the side effects is turning the ability to astral travel and project. And often I get so many people tell me, oh my gosh, you were in my dream the other night. Like, it's like strangers will tell me this, like, you were in my dream. You were in my dream. It's like, clearly I do a lot of astral projecting at night, because I get that all the time. So it's not just the belief, it is the ability to separate your body, your consciousness from the body, and travel. And the truth is, this is definitely an ability you can do. You can literally do this in meditation. You can just go and project into different areas of people you want to be around, places, different multiverses, whatever it is, astral projecting. So these are the 22 things. And this is what I think. These are great. They're awesome. But I, again, really, truly believe that our greatest ability, are you ready? It's to love. To love is a supernatural ability. Are you able to love in the face of somebody not being loving? Are you able to love when there's so much hate and war on the planet? Are you able to love yourself regardless of how much money's in the bank or your relationship status or if your genes fit or not? Are you able to love yourself unconditionally? I believe the greatest superpower in the world is love. And so in this, I'm just knowing that you are already supernatural. You can read on the blog at Dr. Erin Show and go to this podcast episode. It's going to go through all the supernatural abilities across so many different processes and different religions and forms and yoga practices and things like that. You can check it all out there. But this is what I know for sure is you are supernatural. Take a deep breath in and exhaling out. And I just know that within you, there are infinite mathematical equations of all the elements. You have the ability of your DNA to transcend all lifetimes because it is all lifetimes. You have the ability to communicate with your lineage and all future generations right here, right now. You hold the wisdom and the medicine to heal thyself, to know thyself, and to become the highest version of yourself. That is the greatest supernatural ability, is to become the divine, the unique divine expression called you in the highest form, the most expressed, the most unconditionally loved, the highest form of you. And so in this, I just say, and so it is. Okay, if you've enjoyed this podcast and if you're ready to turn on your supernatural abilities, I invite you to do the work to turn them on, which is doing your deep soul clearing work to get out of the way. There's no shortcuts. There is deep work to do, and we are here to do it. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth. Thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Erin Show. If you're ready to transform your life, discover your soul's purpose, and manifest your dreams, go to drerin.tv. Join me in my life-changing events, membership, or certification. If you're ready to become a certified coach and get trained in metaphysics of mind, manifestation, and the creative process, subconscious reprogramming, trauma recovery healing, spiritual psychology, universal law, and much more, go to drerin.tv. If you're receiving value from the show, I would love it if you would share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth.